disloyal beasts. The prophets were fools to trust them.
This will kill Halo, and there's no two ways around that. So we're going to be talking about the rumored, heavily rumored, emphasis on rumored, Halo reboot that has been floating around for the past few days. So just before we really get into it, I do want to say again, rumor, but there's a lot of buzz around this, and I absolutely hate this idea. And there is a little bit of credibility to this because this is from Ryan McCraffy, who has been around IGN for a long ass time. I know IGN sucks donkey balls, but this dude does have a lot of insider knowledge, and he's been in the industry and in the whole scene for quite a long time. So maybe, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. So we're going to be talking about the Halo reboot, and this is just going to be a bit of a ramble because I absolutely hate this idea. So here is the tweet from Ryan. It says, just a gut feeling here, but given the senior staff departures and layoffs suffered at 343 since Infinite has been released, and the fair to argue take that Infinite has not had the best impact a Halo game should and needs to, I think the next mainline Halo game is going to be a reboot. So he follows it up by saying, that would mean recasting the voice roles and pressing the reset button on the entire storyline. Note that I'm not necessarily rooting for this. I'd miss Steve Downes and Jen Taylor dearly, but I expect Xbox leadership will feel the best path forward for Halo is a full-blown reboot. To actually put this into words as how much of a bad idea this is, this will be the final straw that breaks the camel's back. Halo has not been in a good place for the past, I want to say 10-ish years, a decade, pretty much all the 343's run. Now, I am someone that is not a fan of the direction 343 has gone in. I will admit there's been some pieces here and there that I have quite enjoyed. And while we're on the subject of Halo Infinite is a soft reboot. Essentially, it's a soft reboot. We're kind of moving away from everything and going into a brand new story. The weapon is basically Cortana from Halo 1. Instead of the Covenant, we have the Banished. And by the way, I quite like the Banished. I like Atriox. I think there's some cool shit going on there. Instead of the Flood, even though it is kind of hinted that the Flood will return, we're going to be getting something called the Endless, which we haven't really seen too much of yet. Halo Infinite was a soft reboot, and they're talking about this potentially being a full-blown reboot. What does that mean? Like he just said, every single piece of Halo content no longer canon. Destroyed, cast aside, thrown away into the bin in order to start again. But even just with Halo Infinite, the ending of that one actually ties into quite a larger part of Halo lore to do with the primordials and all that type of stuff. So what's going on there? It's a shame we'll never get DLC campaign for this game because there's so much more story that can be told. I mean, Zeta Halo. Oh, what have they done? They dropped the ball big time with that. But this would mean that the foundation that is the Bungie trilogy no longer canon. The incredible start to the series that was Halo Combat Evolved.
We did what we had to do for Earth. An entire Covenant armada obliterated and the Flood. We had no choice. Halo, it's finished.
No, I think we're just getting started.
No longer canon. The masterpiece of storytelling that is the Halo 2 campaign.
What would you have your Arbiter do?
No longer canon. The epic and fantastic conclusion to the trilogy, Halo 3.
Halo, it's so new, unfinished. I'm not exactly sure what will happen when we fire it.
We'll head for the portal. Have a long time.
No longer canon. You know, I'm a big ODST diehard fanboy. No longer canon. Alpha 9, no longer a thing. You know, my boy Buck, no longer a thing. The Arbiter, Felvatam, no longer canon. Do you see how this goes, man? This gets deeper and deeper and deeper with just no longer canon. Shit, even Halo Reach. I'm someone that enjoyed Halo Reach's campaign. I've always liked the Halo Reach game despite its many flaws. And yeah, its biggest problem, at least from a storytelling perspective, is continuity is pretty mumbled up with this game. However, it's a good campaign. No longer canon. Even the 343 fans out there, your games will no longer be considered canon. We joke about stuff about 343 and how this is so stupid they might actually do it, but that's kind of been a thing in Halo for, again, since 343's been a thing. We've looked at some of these rumors and said there's no way that's going to be a thing, only for it to later end up, yes, indeed being a thing. 343 has this tendency and problem to overcorrect. They will go in a direction and people won't like it, so they will just completely drop it and steer to a whole new direction. Halo 5 into Halo Infinite. In fact, that's why the whole free mainline Halo 3 for free games all feel so disconnected. From Halo 4 to Halo Guardians to Halo Infinite, it doesn't flow very well, especially when you compare it to the Bungie trilogy. This will be the death blow for Halo. This is going to rip up the very foundation, cast it aside, and look, many people, including myself, man, we're old Halo fans. We come from the Bungie days. We don't necessarily like the direction 343 has gone in, even though, you know, stuff like Halo Legends is really cool, Mona Lisa is really cool. That will no longer be canon. However, though, getting rid of everything, especially the Bungie era games, is basically just pulling the foundation out of the house. The whole thing's going to tumble down and there's going to be nothing left. This would be the final blow. I think I speak for so many people when I say, if this does end up being a thing, we're out. We're done. Of course, they're going to try and build their own new canon and start again. And they're going to cherry pick various things from older books and comics, which will no longer be canon, by the way. And they're going to bring them in and try to make them their own and do their own spin on that. The best example would be like from Star Wars EU, the beautiful expanded universe, which was decanonized after Disney bought the franchise. And every now and then they would bring something out of the EU and you would just be looking at it going, this isn't it. It doesn't have the same impact. It's watered down and diluted, and you've missed the point of this whole thing. Maybe 343, Xbox, whoever's in charge of this decision, maybe you're looking at this being like, yeah, the Master Chief story, not exactly digging it at the moment. That's fine. Put it on pause. You can put the Master Chief story on pause. Not a problem there. Give us some more spin-offs. I mean, goddamn, how long have we all been screaming for an Arbiter game? Give us an Arbiter game. Give us a Halo Wars 3. Do a second ODST game. Give us a Flood survival game. I mean, come on, the options are endless. You know, just thinking off the top of my dome here, how about something that's just like a space combat game or an aerial combat game? Yeah, I know we play as a longsword or some shit. I know that's going to be very niche, but the ideas are out there. There's so much you can do. There's so much that hasn't been touched with what can possibly be a Halo game. Now, one of my really big concerns about this is if they're going to reboot this franchise, they're going to go down the route of the Paramount Plus Halo show, which, oh man, that would actually be the worst case scenario. That's just such a bad show. It's such a bad way to adapt Halo. It's Halo in name only. That show is the very definition of in name only. And if they were to make that the official canon, they were going to replace Master Chief with Master Cheeks. They were going to take Cortana and turn her into a cut queen that watches Master Cheeks have sex with human Covenant spies. It's just a disaster, man. 343, Xbox, whatever, man. This is just a rumor, but if this is the real, this is the death blow. This is the end of Halo. This is the complete and utter destruction of all of this. I pray that this is just completely blown out of proportion and there's no real substance here and it's just people talking out of their ass. But like I said, there's been so many times over the past 10 or so years where we've felt like, yeah, this is just some stupid internet rumor and it ends up being real. Come on, man, like, don't do this. If this does end up being a thing, the entire Halo fan base will be pulled down with it. There'll be very little left. So many people will be gone. Both Bungie fans and 343 fans. This will be the time when we all unite to say, we're done. This would be the complete destruction and end of Halo. No two ways around it. As you can tell, I have absolutely no script to this. I'm kind of just thinking off the top of my dome here, and I dare say that we'll be talking about this in future live streams and stuff, but I cannot wrap my head around just how much of a bad idea this really is. And the only reason I'm making a video on it is because there's a part of me that believes this might be true.
I'll miss you.
Wake me when you need me.